What's up, guys? I'm playing in a rapid tournament on chess.com. I wasn't planning on doing this. This was kind of a last minute decision and actually was running up the stairs to get here on time. Tournament starts in 1 minute. It's a 4-round, 30-minute rapid tournament. So that means 30 minutes for each game, no increment. And this is just kind of going to be practice, a little bit of a warm up for me. I have an upcoming OTB tournament, and so I'm just doing some training for that. Okay? So that's what we're doing, and should be starting in about 30 seconds. All right, so let me go ahead and minimize this so you can see the board, and we'll get ready for the first round. All right, 5 seconds. Let's go. We are the #1 seed, but I'm still going to take every game seriously. All right, and we are paired up as black against someone from France. They play e4, and I'm going to mix up the openings a little bit in this tournament. So I think in this game, maybe I'll just play e5. I've been playing a lot of the French, but I do want to mix it up a little bit. So let's play e5. They play knight f3, and I think we'll defend the pawn with knight to c6. Okay, so they play bishop c4. I always like to play the 2 knights here. You could play bishop c5, which is Gyuko piano, but I'm going to go with the 2 knights defense. And we'll see if they play knight g5, trying to go for a fried liver attack. No, they do play d3. So d3, I think I like to play the move d5 against this. I used to play this a long time ago. Yeah, let's go d5. I'm still kind of in my preparation. Don't need to think too much here. And the idea is we're going to recapture with the knight and just play aggressive, develop our pieces quickly. Yep, go ahead and recapture. Bishop usually goes to g4, bishop to c5. We can castle. And in some cases, we get to attack the king, depending on how white decides to do this. I think the most common move here is, yep, castling. Now I'm just going to try to remember. I'm pretty sure we have 2 options here, but I think the move is actually bishop c5. And the reason is we want to castle quickly, because if we don't castle quickly, we could get into trouble with the rook coming to e1, which is why I think it's important to go bishop c5 and castle. And I think bishop g4 maybe happens later if we get an opportunity. Let's just scan to make sure I'm not forgetting any important details. If they try to sack right away and fork me, what happens there? I think we would probably just castle, sack the piece, and then keep attacking. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure the move is bishop c5 here. So I'm going to go ahead and play it. Mostly going off my memory. I'm not really like thinking too much, just kind of trying to remember the lines, but I'm pretty sure it's bishop c5 and castles here. I think rook e1 is the most common move for white, just trying to attack my pawn. And then we castle and we actually sacrifice the pawn and we get to attack the king. What's up, Andrew? Well, there's 2 Andrews. Hey, Andrew. Andrew and Andrew. Hey, Aaron. Good to see you guys. So let's see what they're going to do. Are they going to go for rook e1 or try to find some other idea? Okay, so they do go rook e1, which is a logical move, and I think I will go ahead and castle. I do remember this being the line, so I don't think we need to think too much. We can go ahead and let him take the pawn here. So what's the point? Why are we giving up our pawn on e5? Yep, they do take it, so we are going to get to see this line in action. So the move that I'm going to play here is queen h4. And we've given up a pawn. Now we're giving up a knight as well. But the idea is that we're going to get a crazy attack if they actually take that. Okay, if they actually take this, our bishop's going to jump in. We're going to at least be able to get a rook. And in a lot of cases, we end up getting a checkmating attack on the king. So that's why we're okay giving up some of these pieces in the center. Now, they don't have to take it. They have some other options. So we'll see what they're going to do, and then we'll kind of talk about where we go from there. But it's a very aggressive opening, which I like to play because most people who play like d3 in this position, they're not wanting some crazy exciting game. They just want to play a calm, sort of normal game, you know? And so that's why I like to play d5. I feel like it just takes most people out of their comfort zone. And that's exactly what we're doing here with queen h4. Okay. Okay, queen f3, I'm pretty sure is one of the better moves. I think it is. I know g3 is a big mistake. I think knight f3 and queen f3 are actually the two good moves for white. So I think our opponent has either maybe studied this or they're just coming up with some good moves. So now I have to actually think because now I'm not remembering. So, okay. For some reason, I want to say we just go back, but let's think about some options. If we try to play bishop g4 and attack the queen, we're just blundering a piece. If we try to play knight d4 and attack the queen, I think we are also blundering a piece, and I don't really see a good follow-up in that position because our bishop is blocked off at that point. We don't really have time for this. Looks like we're going to get into some kind of trouble here. I'm thinking maybe it's interesting. So maybe we can consider knight d4. Knight takes e5. The rook is going to capture, and I don't think I have a good follow-up. Now, we could play bishop g4 then, but I think white just has a very simple move like queen g3, and what am I going to do, right? Which is why I think the move is actually knight f6. Because by playing knight f6, now we can play bishop g4 or knight g4. We keep the bishop open. We kind of keep some pressure there. So that's what I think the move is. It's been a long time since I've looked at these lines, though, so let me just kind of scan. So if we play knight f6 and let's just say go with the obvious move of taking here, what happens? They take, we just take back. They can't really take here because of this. And then we're threatening to come out with the other pieces. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's knight f6, guys. I'm pretty sure. This is not a problem for us. They don't have any rook e1 because our knight is there. So I think knight f6 is the move. I'll just go back. But queen f3 was a good move. That's a good move by our opponent, I think. Now they have a tough decision. Do they develop one of these pieces? Do they try to play c3 and d4? Do they maybe go for the pawn? Do they do something else? A lot of options for white here. Okay, they do take the knight. Now, I don't even have to recapture. I think it's worth considering this move right away because we're threatening this, which looks extremely dangerous, but we're also threatening this. So, yeah, this is very interesting. What if I do play knight g4? What would white probably do? What would they do? Checks don't seem to do much. Actually, wait a second. Let's see. There is the sacrifice with the rook coming down, but then there's bishop f8. I don't think it works. Okay. If they try to defend, let's say they play h3. Seems like a logical move. We could take with the knight. We could take with the bishop. We take with the bishop, the king moves. We take here. They take here. It's hard to navigate what's happening there. It's very hard to navigate. And let's compare that to if I just take the time to take the knight. What's happening there? It's going to give white one extra move that they can use to defend or bring out a piece. So for example, bishop f4 back to g3 just to kind of defend, or knight c3 maybe to e4 to kind of defend some key squares. I kind of feel like this might be a good moment to just go on the offensive. That's what I'm thinking. I don't see a good way for them to defend. Like if they play bishop f4 then we have bishop f2. Let me just verify one more time just to make sure I'm not getting checkmated, because this is a common checkmate pattern, but no, it doesn't work because I have bishop f8. And knight e7, yeah, we have a queen. We can just recapture, or even just... Yeah, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay. So I'm thinking it's knight g4, guys. I hope I'm not missing something, because we could be just blundering a piece if I am, but I don't see how white deals with this easily. Because we have two distinct threats, right? We have two distinct threats, and I don't see one move that white plays that deals with everything. Knight e7 check, we could probably just take it, and now we're not down a piece anymore. Or even king h8 if I wanted to keep the bishop there. Yeah, okay. Let's do it. Let's go knight g4. I think we've calculated enough. And we'll see how white's going to respond to this. But this tactic is a beautiful tactic if I didn't have bishop f8. So the idea is you sack the queen. When the rook comes up, the rook comes down. It's basically a back rank mate, and I can't block with my rook because it's pinned, right? But luckily for me, I do have the bishop. That's why it's okay. That's why it's okay. Okay, can anyone tell me why that's a mistake? Can anyone tell me why that's a mistake? So they're trying to defend here and also block me off. Problem is I can still take this with my bishop, and it's a fork. It's a fork. So we're basically winning the queen. So they did make a mistake there. I think they were playing pretty well up until that moment, but that's a pretty big blunder, and now we're going to just win the queen. White had to come up with something else. I don't know what the move was. It's a very tough position to defend, but that was not the move. And we will check this with Stockfish after the game to see if we missed anything more obvious, or if we played correctly. I'm not totally sure. But this is kind of what you're hoping for if you decide to play this d5 line. And it happens pretty often because most players are going to castle. Most players are going to try to take advantage of the e-file. And then it looks like a free pawn. And then queen h4, everything just gets crazy right after this move, right? And then if you like that kind of a game, this is definitely a fun one. Well, at this point, I guess if they take, it's over. We take and there's checkmate. If they move here, we simply grab the queen and looks like we're still going to be getting a checkmate. Okay, they go for this route. Okay, and you can see it's just a back rank checkmate after they move the king over. So we will have to wait a little bit before the next round because we finished this one pretty early. So we'll analyze the game, and then maybe I'll answer some questions about the opening or whatever. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Game review. Here you go. Okay, so pretty accurate game. Looks like we had maybe one mistake somewhere along the way. So let's see what that was. Okay, so a lot of people here will go for the fried liver, knight g5. I just made a video about this. You can play the Traxler, very, very good response. You can also play d5 and then knight d4, the Fritz variation. But on d3, I really like to play d5. Okay, this was a book. This was a book move. Yeah, okay, so bishop g4 is a move here as well. But I'm pretty sure the bishop c5 lines are the one. Let me see if any masters have played this game. Yes, yes. So in the masters database, bishop c5 is actually more popular than bishop g4. Also knight b6 and also bishop e7. So a lot of ways you can play this position. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Even bishop e6 has been played, but it's not as good. All right, so I went bishop c5, rook e1, castles, and knight takes c5. Yeah, this is the main line. And then queen h4, okay? And the best moves for white are queen f3 and knight f3. Queen f3 and knight f3, okay? Now there's a very nice trap after g3, which is in Blitz. This move is played so much in Blitz because they think they're just blocking you with the tempo. It looks really good, right? But no. Actually, you guys want to pause or just stop and think for a minute. What can we do against this move? Why is this move a blunder? Yeah, you guys are seeing it. Bishop takes f2, exactly. We sack the bishop, and the point is that if the king moves away somewhere, then we can just take here, and they're just in trouble. But if they take you, you now take on h2, and they can't go backwards because a bishop comes in with checkmate. That's just an immediate checkmate, which means the knight's taking away this square. The only other place is king f3. And what ends up happening is we force this king to go on a run to the center of the board. We play knight to d4 check. I guess there's different moves. You could also play knight f6, but knight to d4 check is the line that I like. And then c5, we defend this guy. We're threatening to bring out the bishop or bring the queen. And if they take here, now we play b6. And what has happened is the king has just gone on this run, and they're most likely going to get checkmated. There's all sorts of potential moves. You can use the queen to come from behind. You can also take this pawn. I won a lot of games in Blitz that way. So, knight f3 I think is one of the best moves, but also queen f3 is good. Oh, by the way, knight f3 is interesting because you're allowing this capture. But the idea is, now what? What does black have after this? And the queen sometimes actually can get trapped. I think there's a really interesting line, knight f6. Rook e2, if you look carefully, the queen is trapped. We can't go anywhere because the rook is defended, is taking away this. The knight is controlling this. So our queen is trapped, okay? Queen is totally trapped, but we have this amazing move, knight g4, to defend it. And if they take our queen, we take back with a fork of our own, winning back our queen and a good position. So they can't actually take us. And the best move for white is c3, and then we play b5, and it's some really crazy stuff happens here where this is just kind of in limbo, right? These pieces are just kind of stuck here because of the what's happening. So really interesting lines after knight f3. Okay, but queen f3 is a good move too. And apparently knight f6 is not the move here. So I mixed up some lines. So this was the mistake that I made. I mixed up some lines in my mind because there are other lines where knight f6 is the move, but here it's not. And I should have played knight b to d. What is it saying? Oh, no, knight d to b4. It wants me to go here. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember this line at all. So we're attacking this, and if they defend, what's our idea? Now we play knight to d4, so we're jumping in with the knights, attacking here. They can take on f7, which is one thing I was concerned about. Queen f4. I mean, this is crazy. I don't know what is going on in this position. Obviously, I forgot those lines. It's been a long time. So, okay, that's what I should have played, though. Knight b4. Knight f6 was a mistake. They played the correct move, capturing here. And knight g4 is a good move. Some people were asking about bishop g4. Stockfish basically thinks knight g4 and bishop g4 are equal, just different. So we could have played bishop g4 as well. But after queen g3, I didn't see what I was going to do. I mean, I don't want to trade queens and go into an endgame. Like, this is not going to be a great endgame for me. I think I'm down a pawn and my pawns are all messed up. So I didn't want to do that. So that's why I avoided bishop g4. Okay. Apparently I'm supposed to take this first. That's the best move. Allow bishop f4 and then just play bishop d6. Yeah. But I think from a practical standpoint, knight g4 was probably my best try. Wow. Okay. If anyone would like to pause and try to think, there's one move for white. They had to find one move and only one move to keep the advantage. Does anyone know what it is? Okay, I see a lot of suggestions. Lots of rook moves being suggested. Rook e4, interesting try there to pin the knight. Rook e2 to defend. Rook f1 to defend. Yeah, and somebody did say it. Somebody did say it. The move is, wait for it, d4. Only move, which kind of a strange move. It does make sense when you think about the fact that I have a lot of pressure on f2, so you're stopping that. Now, the question is what happens after this? And I guess the idea is that if I do try to check, the king just runs away. And if I try to check here, you block, and notice my bishop is not putting pressure there. So if you played any other move, like someone suggested, let's just say rook e2, well, that's just going to lead to a checkmate because you can't escape. Someone suggested rook e4. Now we can take here, come down, and we just take the bishop, and we're coming in from behind. And if you played a different move, like let's just say knight c3, that allows this. So yeah, d4, and I think it's because you don't have the pressure on e3. Like imagine if we had that exact same line, like let's just say some random move here. Now on something like this, I was going to say you can't go here because there's too many pieces, but no, you can for some reason. I don't know why. Because there's this. There's this. Yeah, okay. It's very, very complicated position. So, okay, moral of the story is you had to block off the bishop, and d4 was the best way to do it. That was the only move. That's what white needed to play. Sheesh. Okay, so they didn't see that, and they played queen g3, fell for the little tactic, and we win. So, and this is, you know, sometimes when you play moves like d5, this is not going to be the best stockfish line, the most powerful that you'll see at the top super grandmaster level. But when you're playing it against, you know, random people who make mistakes from time to time, it's usually a pretty good option, especially if you can create situations like this, right? This is exactly what you're going for. Some complicated position where you have lots of threats, your opponent has lots of options to consider, and they only have one correct move that they have to somehow find, right? That's usually gonna work out nicely for you, and that's what we saw here. So, okay, still waiting for the next round. Let me see. I assume there's still some people playing, so that's why we're waiting. Yeah, there are still some games going on. So, any questions about this game? Any point along the opening or the middle game? Go ahead and fire away, and I'll try to answer a couple of them while we wait for the next round. Chess Adventures, Carl. You know what? People just stopped watching it, and so it was taking, you know, time to come up with the ideas, and was more required more editing than a lot of other videos, and people just weren't watching it. So it's on pause right now. I don't know if we'll come back one day or not. Go back about the queen trap. You want to see the queen trap line? Okay. So this one. Oh, you're wondering why h3 getting rid of the knight is not a good move. Okay, it's a good question. It's very complicated. It has to do with knight to d4. So the reason that Stockfish wanted you to play c3 must have been to stop knight d4. Let's see why. So if they just take our knight, we now can take on e2. And we no longer have our queen being trapped because we're getting rid of the rook. Okay? So they can't take our knight. If they take here, now our queen can just escape. And even though they can take here, then the bishop can come out, or even the queen is even better. We have a checkmate threat, and white is in trouble. So the problem is once the knight lands on d4, our queen is no longer trapped because we're forcing the rook to move, or they have to go for that trade, which I just showed you is good for us. And that is why you don't have time to play h3. You have to play c3 to stop this. And then Stockfish says you just immediately attack the bishop, because once you lure the bishop away, this knight can now jump in here. I'm not sure what the significance of b5 is, maybe because you need this in some cases. And you just keep attacking, essentially, and you don't even give white a chance to breathe. And then here, yeah, bishop b7, exactly what it wanted. It wanted you to start threatening. This is checkmate. This is just a crazy position. I mean, this is just great. Like, if this happens, checkmate. If they try to block you, you just take it, and then when they recapture, now you bring the other rook over. And again, you're getting rid of that rook, and they, of course, can never really take you because of the fork we already talked about, and you're just winning. So I guess against b5, white has to go bishop d5, getting control of that diagonal. Then you go bishop f5, and after d4, it's an equal position. It's an equal position. Yeah, crazy position. Absolutely nuts. Okay. Let me see if there's any other relevant questions here. Yeah, Connor, tips for memorizing opening lines. That's a good question. Probably the best tip is try to understand why you're doing what you're doing, because that's going to be the best way to recall it in the middle of the game. So, like, for example, what's the move here? Is it bishop c5 or is it bishop g4? Well, I remember that I need to castle quickly because I know that the rook's coming to attack my king. And I also know that I'm going to, like, at some point be attacking here. And so that reminds me, like, yeah, it's probably got to be bishop c5 because I know I need to castle. And I know that when they take, I'm going to be wanting to attack here. But I'm remembering the ideas behind those moves, not just like memorizing, okay, he castles, I go bishop c5, okay, he goes here, okay, I castle, okay, he takes, okay, I go queen h4. Because, yeah, you can memorize things that way. But you're not going to recall it as good as unless you know the ideas, right? Now, occasionally, it comes back and it messes you up. Like right here, I played knight f6 because I was remembering some of these ideas of, like I showed you, where the queen gets trapped and the knight comes over to defend. And I was like, you know, sometimes the knight is useful in these situations, which wasn't the case in this particular line. I forgot it was supposed to be over here, but it actually worked out nicely in the game for us because we ended up getting a winning attack. Now, was it winning? No, they had d4, but you know, you can use those ideas that you remember to come up with moves, even if you don't remember the exact line. And realistically, you're not going to be able to memorize like all the different lines. You just can't do it unless you're going to spend like, you know, hours and hours every day just memorizing lines, which nobody wants to do that. And so it's much better to focus on the ideas. That's the takeaway. White has mate on queen f2. Yeah, we already talked about this during the game, but check. I mentioned I have this bishop f8 move, and it's not checkmate, luckily for me, and now I'm just up a queen. And so yeah, good observation, but can't forget about the bishop there. Okay, let me see. Yeah, next round is starting soon, guys, so I'm going to get ready for the next round. Okay, so let me close this. All right, round 2, starting soon. Big L wants to see the Owens defense. That's probably a reasonable request. Yeah, I'll see what I can do. If I get black again, I'll probably be white next round. But maybe round 3 we can see about the Owens defense. Or can you see the standings here? I'll just show you really quickly. There you go. Right now we're in first place. We are the top seed, so we're favored to win, but anything can happen. There's some good players in the tournament, so and the next round should be starting any minute now, I think. Wait, are there still games going on? Hold on. I thought it said let me see. Oh, there might still be a couple of games? No, surely. Let me see. Hold on, guys. Let me see this one. Oh, there are some games going. No wonder it's not starting. Okay. This game is still going. White is clearly ahead here as the bishops. They're up a piece. 2 bishops against 1 knight. So most likely White's going to win this game. I know this is not the tournament that I was talking about entering. That's an OTB tournament, so you will get to see some live footage of me at the tournament there. This is just a practice. This is just a practice tournament. Okay, let's see if there's any more interesting games still going on. Actually, this might be the last one. I think this is the last round, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so maybe we'll just keep it on here. So if I'm white, I'm going to trade. I want to end the game quickly. Yep. And I'm going to go rook a7. I'm going to attack the pawn. And I'm also threatening rook a8, which would force a trade of the other rook. So I'm going to play rook a7 here. I'm not worried about a check because I'll take it. If you come down here, I don't really see any threats. That's probably a fine move as well. Just getting the bishop on a good diagonal. Maybe after the knight moves again, I would go rook a7 with the threat here. Because once you trade the rooks, the bishops are going to be extremely strong against the knight. You just come take this pawn, push it, and win. Maybe black sacks their knight for your pawn, but you still have 2 extra bishops. You take these pawns, you get a queen, and you checkmate. You thought you saw mate in 2? You thought you saw mate in 2 when white had to find d4? No, I mean, there was no mate in 2. I'm pretty sure Stockfish would have found it if it was there. I haven't seen Stockfish miss a mate in 2 yet. Okay, let's go rook a7. Let's go rook a7 and trade this rook off. How about we do that? I mean, okay, they could push pawn. There's lots of ways white could win this. Yeah, rating range in this tournament. Let me take a look and show you guys. There you go. So there's a 2000 rated player. I thought there was another 2000 rated player. They might have withdrawn. 1800, 1700. Yeah, so I'm definitely very favored. This is more of a warm up, a practice for me. Just playing some longer games. I play a lot of faster time control games, and my tournament is going to be much longer. So I want to get in the habit of actually thinking through some things and not just moving on instinct every move, right? Because yeah, you'll blunder, you'll miss things, and it's important to use your time in these longer classical games. So. Hey, Steven. Yeah, welcome. Hey, Rob's here too. All right, good to see you guys. Yeah, sorry for the time change. I just noticed that this tournament was happening and decided to hop on right away. So here we are. And like going back earlier when I wanted White to try to trade those rooks, like they're still totally winning, but they have to like always be scanning and watching out for things that this rook can do. And you never know when you miss some tactic or something. The less pieces that are on the board, the less likely that is to happen. And so by trading that rook, it's just going to make their life so much easier, right? You are the one with my name and profile picture. Yeah, no worries. I understand it was a joke. Yeah, no worries. Hey, at least this tournament doesn't have increment, because if it had increment, this game could last forever, but at least we know it's it's capped. So that's one thing. Okay, so White's going to try to push the pawn. All right, good. Yeah, maybe you take it and you get a queen. Seems like a good plan. Okay. Bishop's under attack. Let's see how White's going to react. Yep. That's what I would have done. Now you can push it. I'd probably just tuck my king on a nice safe square. The knight can't really do anything because you would have to get there, but you can't here, but there's a bishop controlling it, even if you could somehow figure out how to get your knight there. So it's pretty easy for White. Push the pawn and win. Only thing Black could do, I would say, is like go rook a1. Try to make White's life a little bit more difficult pushing the pawn, but realistically, they shouldn't have too much trouble. They have a lot of pieces to help it, so yeah. Advice for 1400? Oh, that's a very broad question. It's hard to give general advice. I mean, I don't know what you've studied, what you haven't studied. Obviously, make sure you're good on your tactics. You do want to have a couple of openings at that level, I would say, that you're familiar with. You need to have some basic endgame knowledge. but it's hard to kind of answer that question. Neiman beating Magnus and Nakamura. I actually didn't see any of those games. Yeah, I have no idea. I didn't see any of it, so I'm not sure. Are we talking like speed chess? Was this a Title Tuesday deal or something else? Because I don't know. I don't know if you can join this tournament. I think it's probably closed because it's a Swiss format where you just have 4 rounds. I don't think it's going to let people join late. So that's my fault for not announcing it sooner. It was a last minute decision for me, though. I just saw it was about to start in like 5 minutes and decided to hop on and join it. So, okay, there we go. Now he's got the pawn going. So the easiest thing is to push it, and if the rook comes over, you can go check and then push it again. Or you could go check right away and then push it twice. You could take this if you want. You don't have to. I mean, it's... you could even go bishop d4. Okay, this is what I would probably play. Bishop d4. And then checkmate. That's a checkmate pattern with a rook and a bishop that you should be aware of. Okay, he's going to push the pawn, which is fine. Gets the job done. Oh, it was the Title Tuesday? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, it happens. All kinds of stuff happens in speed chess, so I'm not really surprised. Okay, this game's about to be over. We'll jump into the next round. I think it's going to start as soon as these guys finish. Looks like Black's going to fight till the very end. Maybe hoping for some kind of a stalemate. But, Andrew, that's awesome. You got to 1650. Way to go. Way to go. Ooh, White's got to be careful. If they, like... I could envision some stalemates happening here. You push the pawn, bishop comes up. I guess there's a capture still, but... Yeah, White does need to be a little careful here, guys. This could... There are ways to stalemate. I don't think it's going to happen, but there are ways. Yeah, I mean, imagine if this bishop was like back one square. That's a stalemate. Now it's not going to happen because it's going to be check. Probably just go here. This is what they're going to do. Okay, that's fine. Like if they move the rook somewhere, it's a stalemate. Okay, that's a good move. It's a good move. Yeah, it's not going to be stalemate because it's check, and if you go here, it's also check. So Black probably has to run. Okay, they're fighting. They're fighting to the last minute. It's mate and 4, 8 and 3. So you get a queen. The king runs here. Oh, that's actually not an easy mate in 3. Okay, well now it's mate in 2. Yeah, now it's pretty straightforward. Get the queen. King goes here, bishop comes back. Checkmate. Now White's checking if it's a stalemate. Oh, you can't see White's rating. I'm sorry. They're 1601. They're 1601. Yeah, they're 1600. They're going to win. Because I normally have my name there, and my name fits, but their name is too long. That's funny. All right, there's the checkmate. Oh no! They didn't see it. Okay, there's another checkmate. I think they'll see this one. I think they'll see, okay. That's also checkmate. Okay. Way to go. Let's go for the next round, my friends. Let's go. Here we go. All right, we got white. We're playing against a 1500. And I will play... We'll play e4. Or should I play Stonewall? What do you guys think? Stonewall or we'll play e4. I don't know. I'm indecisive right now. Okay, our opponent is thinking already. So let's see what they're going to do. Maybe they left. Maybe they left after the other round. Okay, they're playing e6. Yeah, what do we do against this? Okay, I have an idea. I don't usually play this, but I think it might lead to some interesting positions. So what I'm going to do is play the move Queen e2. See if we can throw them off a little bit from move 1 here. What's the point? If they try to play a French now, we can actually just take it. And it's not a French anymore. It's more like a Scandinavian or something. So, and my bishop is probably going to just go here. Okay, they play knight f6. Yeah, so I think we can play knight c3, just develop and continue to control those squares. And again, like I said, this bishop's coming over here. So even though it's temporarily blocked, we will fix that in a moment. And then I guess there's another way we could play. We could push this pawn, move this bishop somewhere, and castle queenside right away. And then maybe just throw these pawns forward to attack on the king side. Bishop c5. So let's make sure we're not going to get tricked here. But no, you can't really move that knight there. Does stop us from playing d4. So what I'm thinking is just d3. Let the bishop out. Let's do that. And I do have a couple of setups in my mind. Okay, they play h6, which common move, but it's not always a great move because you take time that you're not developing pieces. So bishop e3 seems like a reasonable move because it gets me ready to castle, also counters this kind of annoying bishop. And I would have options to take back really either way. Pawn would give me support in the center and also open up the f-file to potentially attack. Queen would just kind of keep my pawn structure looking nice. So I'm definitely thinking about bishop e3. The other thing is I could continue like I was planning with my bishop coming over here. So g3, if they play something like d5, when we take, I don't know if I'm going to get into trouble with the queen coming here. I don't love that, so maybe I'll just play bishop e3 instead. I'll just play bishop e3. I think if they castle, I think I'm definitely going to be castling queenside and then trying to launch a pawn storm. I think that seems like a very good plan. So let's just go ahead and kind of prepare that. But we'll see what they do with their king first. Hey, John, welcome. They go bishop b4, so I could ignore that. I'm not really worried if they take. Yes, it's going to mess up my pawn structure, but then they give me the bishop pair, which is valuable. They could play d5 though, so that's the move that I would want to be careful about, because d5 now they're threatening d4. And if I take, their knight is jumping in with some annoying threats. I do have bishop d2, so I think it's fine. Let's say I play g3. d5 takes. It could even take with the queen, which is probably the most annoying thing. I could always go back to d2. Nothing wrong with that. Just kind of countering. And if the bishop goes back, well, then I got bishop d2 for free, right? So bishop d2, if they play d5, we can just take, trade everything, and then continue the game. So yeah, that's probably fine. The only thing I'm not going to castle, the reason I'm not going to castle now, well, two reasons. If they take here, then my king is kind of exposed over here. I don't like that. Also, they haven't castled yet. I'm not totally sure that I'm ready to pawn storm because they haven't castled. So I kind of want to wait. I'm sort of thinking about what's the potentially the best waiting move. And I'm trying to delay knight f3 because I wanted to get my pawn up on f4 first, or maybe even put my knight on h3 to facilitate that f pawn going forward. That's why I'm not just playing knight f3 here. Yeah, I will play bishop d2. Let me just play bishop d2. Just because I want to have the option here to trade with my knight on d5 if this happens. And I think this is a very logical move from black at some point, so I want to be ready for it. And so that's why I'm doing this. And yes, I spent 2 moves on my bishop, but black spent 2 moves on their bishop. So I'm not actually losing tempos. I'm just reacting to what they're doing. I think it's fine. And like I said, I'm happy to get the bishop pair here if they decide to give it up. Bishops are pretty powerful. So big moment for black if they're going to castle or not. And I mean, if they don't castle, then the other question for black is like, is your king going to be safe in the center? Because I could still, you know, castle and attack in the center, right? And that could also be dangerous for black. So it's, you know, I don't know. It's going to be a long time before they can castle the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4 moves at least. They want to go here. That's a good move. They might be forcing me to play knight f3. It might be. Let's think about this. If I castle and they jump in, do I have a good move with my queen? Can go back to e1. It's a little bit passive. Probably not awful, but maybe we do need to play knight f3 here. Maybe we do need to. a3, trying to force the issue. I think they just go back. I don't really know that I achieve much with that move. Castles, knight d4, queen e1. That's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, the knight's pretty annoying though, so that maybe knight f3 is the best move. Maybe it is. Yeah, I think it is. So this is a good example of like, I was trying to wait. I really wanted to get my f pawn forward first. But sometimes you just have to react to what's happening in the game and you have to make the best decision. And I think the best decision right now is to not let that knight go to d4 with a tempo. That just seems like it's too much for black. So I will play knight f3. Yes, I can't go f4 like I wanted, but you know what? It's okay. We'll still be able to do that later. And now they castle. Okay. So this is great. I'm pretty happy to see this. I'm still going to be attacking. I won't have the f pawn, but that's okay. We're going to still attack with these. And I think I will go ahead and castle. This is exactly what I was kind of hoping for. I like these opposite side castling positions. And I'm thinking about g4, maybe immediately. Maybe we prepare it with h3. And the reason I say maybe immediately is because I think I'd be happy if they take it. Rook g1. If the knight moves, we already have a tactic. If they defend the knight, we have h3. And then we have the open file to attack. Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely compensation for a pawn. And then my attack happens faster because then I can just immediately go to g5. I don't even have to waste time playing the move h3, right? So I could also go rook g1, g4, g5. But I don't know. I just like this right away. Now, of course, let's see what black does first. They might do something that changes my mind about that. Okay, so that's a pretty good move, I think, from black. Striking at the center. Well, obviously, you want to just start with the captures, but that doesn't really gain much for me. In fact, it opens up the bishop and it opens up this for their rook. So I can immediately rule out taking the pawn. If I push, you gain a tempo on the knight. If they go back, maybe I play d4 and I lock up the center. Generally, when you want to attack on a flank, the center being locked up is good because it stops anything from happening there, and then I can just focus on what I want to do over here and checkmate the king. So e5 seems to be the best move at the moment. The other thing is I could just attack right away, just g4. If they want to take me, well, now you've opened up my rook on your queen. And maybe my bishop at some point in the future. It is blocked with the queen, but still, even just this is significant. So I don't think they would really want to take. If they push, I would have to move my knight probably back to b1 and then takes. The center is still relatively locked up, and I could still keep attacking. They have a little bit more space in that variation than if I push myself and get the pawns on d4 and e5. But definitely something to think about. So what's happening after e5? I don't think... Well, he disconnected and will auto-resign. Uh-oh. I don't think they would go to g4 because you're not threatening to take my pawn, which means h3 traps your knight. Okay? No, no, no. No, no, no. The knight is just trapped, right? So on e5, and I don't think you'd go to h5 because g4 traps your knight. Okay? So anywhere here or here, you get your knight gets trapped, right? Which means h7, you could do that. Seems like a weird and bad square for the knight. I would anticipate one of these moves. Okay? And then I would keep attacking. Then I would keep attacking. Yeah, maybe that's better because if I let them push and then they push here, then they open up their bishop and I have to worry about more things. So I think e5 does make sense, actually. So let's go ahead and push it, and they're going to have to move their knight now. I'm assuming that they will reconnect. Otherwise, we don't get to see the end of this game. And I think it was turning out to be a pretty interesting game, unfortunately. But see if they reconnect. Oh, they're back. They're back. All right. All right. So I'm pretty sure they're going to go here. Because if you put your knight on e8, it's limited. It blocks the coordination of the pieces. Same thing with h7. You're stuck. You can't really go anywhere. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see this move. So let's start thinking. So knight d7. They can't take my pawn just yet. It's defended twice, attacked twice, so it's fine. You might want to play f6 to kind of bust this open, but then maybe we just take it, or even play d4. Oh, no. Disconnected again. Okay. So against this move, I think what I would do, guys, is just play g4. I think I would just play g4. And then h4, and then h5, and then g5. And the reason I would do it in that order is because if I play h4, maybe they could play h5 and try to create some sort of a blockade. Probably not. I'd probably just sack and open it up. But g4, g5, it's very easy for me to play h4 and force a trade. And so I'm going to start with g4 to stop h5. Then I'll go h4, h5 to make sure they can't push by. Then I will push and trade it off. Because if I go g4, g5 right away, they'll play h5 and they keep everything closed. Remember, you want to make sure when you're pushing these pawns, you can force trades. You have to get rid of the pawns. Because you get rid of the pawns, then your rooks and your queen can use the files to checkmate the king. So I think we go g4, h4, h5, g5 in that order. What about d4? You're asking about d4 right now. Oh, so a counterattack. The only thing about that is that I'm the one capturing first, which means I'm going to get probably a couple of extra options. Let's see. So takes. And you're saying this comes with a check, so I don't have time to take here. Yeah, that's reasonable. So maybe on d4, takes. If I take on c3. Yeah, I mean, I have options there, guys. For one, I could just move my knight if I wanted to. It does give black the d5 square. So yeah, maybe d4 is something to consider. I don't know. I feel like even just taking and then taking here. Takes. You know what? No, maybe d4 is interesting. Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe I should have considered it. But here we are. They did play 97. So yeah, I've already kind of talked about it. I don't really see any reason to not do this. If they push now, we can always jump here. And I'm pretty happy. Okay, maybe we lose the pawn. We can maybe just go back and then jump here, and then we have options there. Or I play d4 myself and just try to shut down any kind of counterplay. That's interesting. Yeah, so this is a good moment to pause because we could attack right away or we could play d4. So if I play d4, knight a5, they can jump in. Do I like that? Not really. I think I would prefer to maybe just attack. I think I would prefer to just attack. I'm not super concerned with this. I mean, I might go knight b5. I might go knight e4. Knight e4, maybe not. Maybe I lose a pawn. Maybe I can't go knight e4. But I have knight b1, knight b5. So I don't think I care too much. I'm gonna play g4. I don't know what's happening with our opponent, if they're coming back or what. Yeah, no, guys, the thing about 10 minutes is it's very quick. You can't really have a deep think in a 10-minute game, or you get into some massive time trouble almost immediately, right? Like if I sit and think for 5 minutes, which is not that deep of a think, but it's, I'm already in time trouble. So for training purposes, that's why we're doing these longer games, okay? Because 30 minutes, I can sit and think for 5 minutes or 10 minutes and still have time left, right? This is a 4-round tournament. This is a 4-round tournament, so this is round number 2. So we have 2 more games after this one. Auto resign in 7 minutes. Yeah, I mean, d4 seems like one move. Maybe f6 to try to attack here. But I think f6, the problem is... Oh, no, if they take with the queen, that actually is interesting. Then they have a threat here. We play, let's say, bishop g2. And maybe, okay, maybe f6 is interesting. I might just ignore it and play h4. Let him take me. Yeah, we're going to have to do some calculating, actually, on f6. I'm going to wait till they move, though. I'm going to wait till they move, because there's a lot of options here for black, I think. So let's see what they do. Yeah, Connor, it's 90 minutes with 30-second increment on every move for the upcoming tournament. So much longer than these games. I mean, that 30-second increment on every move means you're not going to lose a game on time, right? You might blunder in time pressure, but you're not going to just run out of time. Every move, you have 30 seconds to play the next move. Okay, so we do have to do a little calculating here. So... 94 looks like an appealing move, but I don't think... Oh, hold on. I was going to say we're losing a pawn, but are we losing a pawn? Because if you take me, I take back with my knight, and it's defended. So you take right away. I take right away. If you ever take back, I always take back, and it's defended. And if you take back here, then I actually take your bishop. So we don't actually lose a pawn. So we could play knight e4. We could also play knight b5. The idea is just to take the pawn. Next move. I assume they would go bishop c5 to defend it. That's pretty annoying for me. I mean, maybe I could play c3 and try to force the issue there, but then I'm starting to open up my own king. Why would I want to do that if I have a better option like knight e4? Okay, so knight e4 and takes. And I think we have a pretty nice position. If we need to get the bishop out here, we can. If not, we just keep attacking. Okay, so knight e4 it is. Nice little tactic there with the bishop hanging to defend our pawn. I think we're in good shape here. OTB tournament, 1-day tournament? Oh, no. No. It's multiple days. Yeah, it's like 4 days. Yeah, because you need a lot of time for the rounds because... So 90 minutes, okay, and we have to defend the pawn, so we're going to take back with this knight to keep it defended. So if you have 90 minutes for each player, right, that's 3 hours total if they use all their time. And then you have 30 seconds for both players on every single move. So every move in the game adds a minute, essentially, 30 seconds for each player, right? So like in this game that we're playing right now, we're on move 12. You've just added 12 extra minutes. So your 3 hours is now 3 hours and 12 minutes. And it's not unreasonable for a game to last, 50, 60 moves. You add another hour, so you might be looking at 4 hours or more in some cases for a game. So you have to have like enough time for that between the rounds. Okay, so immediately I'm noticing this knight is undefended. Okay, so queen e4, something to keep in the back of my mind. Of course, there's a bishop that would defend it. I'm also thinking about, for example, knight takes d4, knight takes d4, queen e4. Is that winning back a material? Okay, I don't think it is. I think black has knight b6, which defends and defends at the same time. Very interesting resource for them, but you always want to think about it. And I don't want to just line up into a discovered attack right away, I don't think. I'm probably not going to play queen e4, but it's good to think about it. They clearly want to put their bishop here, which seems very reasonable. I could do the same thing. If I do and they go there, then I could consider taking, but no, this comes with a tempo on my queen, so we can't do that. I'm not really worried about the attack on my king. It's going to take them a while to organize that. So I believe I'm going to play h4, but I'm also thinking about bishop g2. I mean, I could play bishop g2 to sort of counter that. Or I could just play h4, rook g1 to get away from the bishop and then just keep attacking with these pieces. I don't know if it's enough, though. We might need the bishop and the rook. I could always play bishop g2 later. And what about the immediate g5? Is there any tricky reasons for that? No, probably not. Okay, we could play something like knight b3 and try to attack this pawn. Don't think I load that. Yeah, I think h4 is a good move. Let's play h4. So, yes, I'm going to have to kind of keep an eye on some things here, but my knight is actually defended pretty nicely. So even if some pin happens and they attack me, I mean, I've already defended twice. I could easily defend it again. I don't think we're in danger of some tactic popping up on us there. Okay, they do go bishop b7, right? Still, rook g1 looks appealing. Bishop g2. So bishop g2 I might actually play here. Not so much because I care about this diagonal at the moment, but more because I want this rook to get on g1. The rook is not doing anything. I'm kind of thinking we should do this just for the rook. And then maybe even I might even just move the bishop back just to get out of the way, you know? But maybe I will do that. Just a little bit of... Now, hold on. Bishop g2. Do I fall into a tactic? Takes. The bishop comes down. Yeah, maybe I do. How about that? So maybe rook g1 is the move right here. Just to avoid any shenanigans with that happening. Yeah, I'll play rook g1. I'll just play rook g1. Yes, I would like to have this rook and have both of them, but the bishop's a little bit annoying, and rather than giving black some counterplay here, I think this is the smart thing to do. Now, I'm not worried about the time, but I am noticing, okay, we're approaching the halfway point, and I'm anticipating some very critical moments ahead, okay? Because we haven't really launched a full-scale attack yet. That's when the tactics start popping up. That's when you really have to calculate through things carefully, and if black does the same thing to us, we might get some very complicated positions where they might attack me, I'm attacking them, who's going to get checkmated first. I would like to save a good chunk of time to analyze those lines and calculate those situations. So that's why I'm like, okay, let's just play it. I don't want to spend like 10 minutes deciding on, should I really play this? Should I really play bishop g2? Should I really, do something else? I think rook g1 is a nice, safe, quick move. And we will use the time later. Hey, Ryan, how's it going? All right, so I'm getting excited about the moves h5 and g5 next. Because now that we have the rook lined up, it's pretty easy to move this knight somewhere and unleash the queen over there too. So maybe even bishop h3, and the bishop might be able to join the party from a different angle. It also allows this guy to come over if we need it. Maybe there's some sacrifices. So like lots of potential ways this can go down. Black's pieces are I would say, kind of not coordinated very well. Because this pawn really would like to be able to move forward, but you can't. This is a very slow plan if you have to spend, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 moves just to try to generate some counterplay. And even then I could, I don't know, probably just take and push or come up with some solution there. So that's, I don't know if that's really a good plan for them. They might have to defend before that happens. So the queen doesn't have a ton of options. I mean, queen e7, maybe you try to come this way, but I don't know. It seems kind of slow for them. So I think this is a pretty good deal here. h5 and g5 next. Yeah, if I play g5 first, they'll probably play h5, and then I have a harder time getting through. Exactly. Now you could make the argument that this is a target and we can move our knight and try to attack it, but then they play g6, and I'm like, it's not that simple. Yes, you could still potentially set up a sacrifice and bust through, but why go through all that trouble when you can just do this? Okay, knight b4 seems logical. They probably don't just want to give that up for free, and then they want to play maybe c5 and c4. So I can go king b1. Just defend. You can also go a3. The thing about a3, okay, it's nice that it comes with the tempo, but then they're going to move their knight. Let's just say they go here. And now, whenever they push their pawns, it's faster for them to start creating trades of the pawns. So you want to be careful doing that. I'm also noticing this pawn is free. So what happens if I take it? Then we end up trading, and then they go back to b4. My knight's on a pretty good square on d4, and we can keep attacking. You know, it's interesting. It's actually interesting if I do just ignore this. Because then let's just say h5. They take, I go king b1. They go back, g5. So I sacked one pawn. But now my attack is happening right away. Now, the only thing that I could see black doing is pushing this, going queen a5 and trying to checkmate me here. But you know what? King c1, check, knight b1, check, and I run. It's not even checkmate. Oh, queen a5. Is it checkmate? Hold on. Maybe it is checkmate. Okay, that's interesting. Because here's what I'm afraid of. If I play a3 and then try to attack, the knight might jump into f4, which is kind of a really annoying move. That would be really annoying if the knight gets there. Which is why I'm thinking we just go here. Let him do it. Okay, let's think about this. G5. Let's say they play c5 and just ignore me. I take. Queen a5. I check. King goes h. And there's the checkmate threat. How do I deal with it? Knight b3. Check. I move. Oh, that's a good solution. Knight b3. Okay, do they play knight c5 or bishop d5 to attack me? Their king's in the corner. My rook is here. My pawn is here. Alternatively, if I go king b1 and they play c5 right away and play here, what's happening there? So let's say king b1, c5, h5, queen a5, a3, maybe knight d5, g5, b4. I have knight c4 though. That's a pretty good move. Knight c4. It's not that simple. This is actually not a bad try from black, I would say. The other option, a3, knight d4, then the knight comes here. We already talked about that. I don't like that one. This is a good plan. c5 and queen a5. This is a good plan. Okay, I think I honestly like the line where I sack it and just attack right away and hope that I can figure out some tactics in the future. I'm not able to visualize exactly how, but I feel like once we get these moves in, somehow a checkmating opportunity should start opening up. So what I'm leaning towards, let's just check one more time. I think this is a critical moment. H5 takes, king goes here, knight goes back. G5, and I assume black is going to attack me with C5. I take. Queen A5. I have knight B3 to kind of slow down the attack, and if they try to attack me... Oh, but actually they don't have... Oh, hold on. They can go check here, then attack me. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm going to have some defensive options there. So I think I should probably do it. I think I should probably do it. Okay, we'll go H5. So why am I giving up this pawn instead of defending it? Because I'm hoping that the extra tempo that I get by just launching the attack right away is going to be worth giving up that pawn. Could be wrong, and maybe Stockfish says I'm crazy and I should just play A3 or King B1 or something, but sometimes when you're attacking, the only even one extra move is what it takes to win the game as opposed to losing the game. So I'm counting on this maneuver for black just taking so much time, right? They go here, it does come with the check, but then they have to go back. And so I end up getting 2 attacking moves, and all they did was remove that one pawn. Like, that's it. And they still have to figure out, okay, now I have to play C5, and now I have to play Queen A5, or whatever they're going to do to attack me. They're going to go back, I assume. I mean, is Bishop D5 a move? Maybe they could play Bishop D5, although the knight's kind of in the way, I feel like. And so I think we would just keep attacking at that moment. Sounds like Hope Chess. No. So Hope Chess is, you know, I'm going to go here, and I hope they don't see that they can take me, and I'll take their bishop. Something like, I hope they don't see a good move. I'm just going to like get lucky and win. When I say I hope I can figure it out in the future, what I mean is I can't realistically calculate every possible move that my opponent might play or that might happen after this. It happens all the time in chess where there's positions that are you just can't. Maybe, you know, Magnus Carlsen or somebody can, but most people just can't. So you have to lean on your intuition a little bit. And so when I say I hope I can figure it out, what I really mean is I have a feeling there's going to be some tactics that pop up in the future that I can't quite see yet, and I'm counting on those being available to me. That's what I mean when I say I hope I can figure it out. So yeah. Hope Chess is totally different. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, this is what I expected, and I think we go with G5 here. Black's biggest threat is going to definitely be C5 and Queen A5. But like I said, I have some different options to defend, including Knight B3 at some point. And I'm also going to start looking for the tactics on Black's king. Oh, they take. Okay, I wasn't expecting them to take, but they just take, which I think I like this because now we can just jump in with which piece? The nice thing about taking with the knight is then my queen can come over after I play h6. But the rook creates this immediate idea of h6, which looks very strong too. Which way? Maybe here we have bishop h3 though, and we can get both rooks over and also create some threats here. Yeah, I think we go with the knight. And again, maybe I could spend longer there, but I don't want to use all my time. I'm still envisioning some critical moments coming. I think I need to keep some time to solve it when we get there. h6, I do not think I'll play, because if they play g6 and I push, they just tuck their king in the corner, and they're actually using my own pawn against me because it blocks off all my heavy pieces from attacking the king. I think I will avoid h6. I'm leaning towards bishop h3, actually, trying to bust open things here somehow. And then maybe sack a rook and bring the other rook, and then the queen comes in to finish off. Something like that is what I'm thinking we can do. Maybe also knight e4, knight f6 could open up a nice attacking position. So yeah, we have a lot of options. Let's see how black responds first. I mean, bishop g2, I guess, is not a crazy move, trying to trade these. I'm just not sure how much time I have. I really depends on if black sees this idea or not. If they play c5, I have to be very careful about this attack. So yeah, c5 is a move that I'm a little bit afraid to see. You know, I'm just noticing an interesting idea on c5. What if I played knight b3 and then knight c1, and then I'm covering the checkmate? That might be it. And then the queen actually can also potentially come over if I play c3, so I could really get some defensive options for myself. And then we keep attacking. Yeah, maybe that's the move. Maybe knight b3. Because if I wait till the queen is on a5, then we get knight b3 check, king goes here. I guess I'm still fine. It just feels very scary. I guess I'm still fine, because they wouldn't be able to check me until they got rid of the knight. But they can't really play c4 because well, they could play it, and they could attack me on the c file, actually. Yeah, so c4 is a move. If I go back, check, block, knight check here, c3. I mean, I don't know what's happening. Am I getting away? Having a hard time calculating that, to be honest with you. Oh, I just noticed something really cool. If I do play, let's just say c5, bishop h3, queen a5, if I did sack here, the bishop would actually defend that square. Look at that. That might be a great resource. Now, I don't think I quite have time. c5, bishop h3, queen a5. If I sack, they don't have to take me. That's the only issue. Ooh. Oh no, that can't be the right move for black. That can't be. They had to play c5 and go for this to get some no, this is... I'm quite happy to see that move. Quite happy. Okay. Oh, I was getting a little concerned. If they would have played c5 and queen a5, it was going to get real spicy. But this is... I mean, okay, they're attacking the pawn. I could defend it if I want, or I can even just ignore it and keep going with the attack here. Even knight f3, knight e4. You know, f4 might not even be a bad move. It just limits those knights so much. Gives my queen more options to swing over this way. I have more time now because black has no threats on my king. Yeah, maybe I will just play f4. Okay. Yeah, we can slow down now because the immediate threat is gone, right? The immediate threat is gone. Now, I mean, yeah, you can push your pawns. That's going to take forever. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 moves minimum, and then I could even just push by and be fine. So that's a big mistake. That's a big mistake. They had to play c5 here. Had to play c5. I mean, you got to think of it in terms of like, what's your best chance to checkmate or create a strong attack? Well, probably use the queen. Okay. They want to try to defend. Yeah, they're trying to defend instead of attack, which is an option, but it's probably not going to end well for them. So bishop h3 looks amazing. Knight e4 looks pretty good too. I don't think we have any reason to push because, like I said, g6 is just good for them. We don't want to do that. It's got to be bishop h3. Bringing in the piece to a great square, stopping knight f5 ideas, or we just take it. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Yanni's 1500 plus now? Dude, I didn't even know you were still playing chess. Oh, you've been doing OTB tournaments. Way to go. Way to go, man. I actually forgot you were a moderator on this channel. It's been that long. Yanni was like the first moderator. Back when we had like 15 subscribers or something. All right. Now we play c5. Okay. Yeah, I mean, now it's not so dangerous now because there's no support for the queen, right? Without the knight on b4, I'm not really worried about it anymore. Okay, let's talk about some sacrifices. I think we should start with the this one. Check. King's gonna move. h6 maybe rook takes g7. I could even sack the rook first. Okay, so let's just kind of do this. Takes, rook takes. We start with the checks because it's the most forcing. If they take me, I can go check with the rook or the queen. King moves over. How do we finish it off? Maybe we don't. The other way is I could start with the bishop. Hits the queen and threatens there. That's actually looks very good. So bishop takes e6 is winning in my mind for now. h6. Yeah, we've already talked about it. I mean, now it's better because now we do have a follow-up, but comparing it to bishop takes, knight takes, that looks amazing because the queen has to move and you can't defend this. The queen a5, rook takes, king goes there. Just a question of can we deliver the mate? We could even take it with the knight if we wanted. There must be some way. Queen g4, yeah. I guess you could go queen g4 right away too. No, but then knight f5 maybe causes us some problems. No, I think we sack. I think we sack the bishop. Am I missing any more forcing options though? Am I missing any more forcing options? I don't think so. It's pretty forcing because the queen is attacked and then the rook comes in and then there must be some way to, with queen g4 and deliver a checkmate. There must be, right? All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So, you know, when you have six minutes on the clock with no increment, I feel like it's okay to not calculate every single variation and go on the instinct. Plays bishop d5. Whoa. So not accepting the sacrifice. Interesting response. Okay, so what happens if I, let's just say, take it? They take me. Queen e4. Queen e4 hits the knight, hits the checkmate. It's probably good enough for me. Guess you could consider some moves like this, but it looks like it's complicated. I already think I found a winning line. Probably just take the winning line and be happy. Probably just take the winning line and be happy. There is knight c3, but I'm not really concerned about it. I have, options. I have options, assuming that they could even find a way to stop checkmate, which is not going to be easy to do. f5. Maybe f5 does it. I'm not sure. Okay, they go knight f6, so we will take the piece. Take the piece. Okay. So they're holding on, at least for the time being. I don't know why I want to play knight e6 here and just sack my queen, but it doesn't look like it's going to be good enough. So maybe just queen g2. Maybe queen f5 just to keep that pressure there. That looks good. Queen f5. So let's see which one. Queen f5, queen f2. Black doesn't really have any threats against my king, so I don't have to like panic. I can take my time, but these moves look very strong. Even if we trade queens, we're up a piece, so we could do that. Of course, I want to keep the attack going, though. Maybe just queen g2. That looks hard to deal with. If they take this, I'm happy. They've opened up the h-file. Let's go queen g2. So, like, for example, knight e6 is the threat to just win the game. So black has to figure out something. Like I said, I'm happy to see that h-file get open. Then we can just bring all the pieces over there and checkmate. Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're going to do that. So queen h2. Okay, queen h2, g6, sack the queen, check, the king moves. Or rook h1, sack the rook, check, and it's checkmate. Okay, there you go. So we start with the rook. If they take, check, check, mate. It's good enough for me. Let's go rook h1. You guys see that little, I don't know what this is called, but you want to get your queen there, but you don't want to give black time to stop you. So you sack the rook first so that you can go to the h-file with check. And it gives you that one extra move so you can get the checkmate, right? Of course, they can block with the knight, but you just take it and then you do the same thing. So they can't go there. g6, we already talked about it. I sack it. Check with the knight. And when the king moves, that's checkmate. We don't even need the queen. And I don't think they have any other option. I mean, maybe f6, but yeah, it's going to be a winning position, right? Okay, so they played the move that we already calculated one more time for good measure. Check. They can't block because we just take it, so they have to move. The knight supports the queen, it's checkmate. Check and mate. Okay, there's the resignation. We got a brilliant move. All right. Let's take a look at the game review. Update the brilliant move counter here. And, two brilliant moves in the same game. Oh, okay. Okay. I like that. Oh, the next game started. No, I wanted to see the brilliant moves. Really fast. Really fast. It was bishop takes e6, and it was rook takes h5. And when they played knight c6, if they would have played... No, not c5. c5 is not the move. The move was bishop d5 is better. Okay, I think I have to go. I think my other game is starting. Yep, it is. Wow. All right. Sorry, guys. We don't get to analyze. We don't get to analyze because here we are. And somebody had requested the Owens 1600. All right, we can do it. We can do it. We'll play the Owens. Let's go. Let's go. I guess that means our game was the last one to finish. It was the last one to finish, so we didn't even get a break between the next round. So Owens defense, what are we gonna do? Oh, interesting move. Kind of throws a wrinkle in our Owens defense plan. Well, I'm gonna put the bishop here. I was gonna play e6, but now I can't. So we're gonna have to improvise a little bit here. And let's see what white does next. So how can we improvise? Yeah, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Okay, we could play f5 and try to turn it into some sort of a Dutch defense if we get our knight on f6. Now it's going to give white the option to take, and we'll have this sort of weird pawn structure. I mean, h6, g5, and then e6 is one version. I don't know if I want to do that. I guess I could play knight f6 immediately and just let him take and get this position. It's not awful. Would I rather have the pawn up there or not, I guess is the question. Yeah, it's annoying. It's an annoying move. Do we get into any trouble with moves like bishop c4, queen h5? No, we always have g6. Bishop c4, I mean, don't think it's a big deal. But I could just play knight f6 right away. It's a bit more solid. And then we try to play f5 later. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to overthink the opening here, so I'm going to go with f5. I don't know if it's the best decision. I'm already kind of out of my book here. I'm not used to... You know, I was thinking about playing e6 first, and maybe I should have, because then we don't have to deal with this. And so maybe I should have played e6 first. It would have done something, and then we could have played the Owen. So maybe that would have been a better option. But here we are. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's just... We're just going to get a different type of position now. Oh, interesting. f4. Wow. Okay. So this person is trying to go for some sort of a stone wall, but where their bishop is outside of the pawn chain, which is kind of a good idea. I think I'm going to play knight f6 anyway. I don't love the pawn structure that I'm going to get, but I do like the bishop pair. The challenge will be... By the way, if they take, we can't take with the g-pawn. Do you guys see why? That would be a fast way to lose a game. That would be 6-move checkmate. We have to take this way so we can block that checkmate, okay? Very important detail. Very important detail. Okay, the reason this is such a weird position now is because the double pawns could potentially be a weakness, but it's also like gives us some pluses. What are the pluses? Well, this e5 square is controlled, so we don't have to worry about a knight coming in. That's a good thing. We have the e-file, so we could attack this weak pawn. That's a good thing. So it's a trade-off. Yes, there's some weaknesses here to be careful of. Yes, this could potentially be a target, or maybe this one if we push here. But I like the trade-offs. Also the bishop pair, and I have the two bishops. So I like the trade-offs. All right, guys, I was going to take a break after the last round. I'm going to run to the bathroom really quickly while my opponent's thinking about this position. I'll be right back. I decided to stop at the kitchen and get some grapes. So hopefully not too much time. Okay, so I love this bishop. I love this file. This bishop is the only problem. What do we do with this bishop? Unfortunately, I kind of feel like it might just have to go here. Or maybe we don't even use it right now. We just do other things. D5, bishop d6, but then I'm cutting off this guy, which I don't love. I'm thinking we start with g6. It's a very weird position. It's a very weird position. Yeah, we'll try g6. Maybe I put it here. Maybe I don't. I'm giving myself the option. If white puts their bishop here, I will consider the move d5. Yes, it's going to block off my bishop, but it also is going to block off this bishop. So I will consider that. But let me see what they're going to do first. Hey, thanks, Yanni. Appreciate that. I got the fancy chess vibes sign there from Rob. No, that's a strange move. That's a strange move. I think I'm just going to go here and castle. Yes, it's an awful bishop at the moment, but my king will be very solid. You know, it's hard for white to really do much because of this pawn, so it's a trade-off. I'm looking ahead. One day I think this bishop might be a hero, but you know, right now it's just going to have to sit there. But I do want to get castled. I really feel like a rook on the e-file is exactly what I need. So I'm trying to make that happen. And then we'll figure out the bishop later. And by the way, this is not a problem as long as I can just move and there's no follow-up. And there's no follow-up for white. What are they going to do? Their knight can't jump in thanks to this super strong pawn here on f6. Now, they could try h4, h5, but if they play h4, yep, let's move over. If they play h4, I think I'm just going to play h5 and totally just shut down everything. They're never going to be able to play this. And they can't go there to attack me with their knight because there's a pawn. And they can't go here because there's a pawn. And so I feel just super safe, you know, over here if this ever happens. Okay? This is what I wanted. Maybe we even just win the pawn. I think I might go rook e7 just to get away from the pin. Then I can move this pawn, bring my knight around. I could also line up behind this rook, so I think it's a useful move. There's no ideas of the queen coming in. I just want to make sure I don't let white get rid of this bad pawn. So I do not want to let them play e4 at any moment, and I think rook e7 kind of goes along with that. So I want to go queen e8, but I'm hesitating because I also might want to put my rook there and have my queen somewhere else. So I'm trying to think through what that looks like. Also developing this. Also not allowing white to play e4, which means I might need to play d5 at some point, like to make sure that that pawn stays weak. So all of these things. So I kind of, I don't love closing off my bishop, but I don't want to, I can't let him play e4. I can't let him play e4. So I'm going to do it because they are threatening. They have 3 pieces defending. I have 3 attacking, which means they can push. Even if I try to stop them, they're going to be able to eventually just keep building. So I don't want to let that happen. Okay, this one we already talked about. The only thing to consider here is this bishop on G hitting G6. I still don't think it's going to work because when I take, it's attacking their knight. I don't think they're going to be in a position to just sack a piece. It doesn't look that powerful to me. And also, this looks awful. I do not want to allow that to happen. So I'm going to play H5 without too much thought. Big question is, where does this knight need to go? So one thing that I like to do is just kind of like scan the board. If you could just pick it up and put it anywhere, where would you put it? Right? I'm thinking right here. Maybe here, right? Like these are kind of the 3 places. So that would mean I would want my knight here or here, right? So where should I move my knight to? You can kind of go backwards. Well, here looks pretty good, because I can get to both of those. Or here, or here, or here. So maybe F7, right? Which would be like this. So maybe I go knight C6. Move my queen somewhere, move my knight. Yep, let's do it. So this is defended. We could also go to A5 if we want. I don't think we will, but if they like try to play C4, maybe. So I'll probably leave it there just for another move. Get my queen up, probably get my rook over. And then maybe I'll go for the final maneuver, and we can go, once we're on F7, we have nice options to go either place. Which looks amazing. Still a very interesting position, because even though they have this weakness, yeah, they were afraid of knight A5, so they're going back. Even though they have this weakness, we can't like just take advantage of it right away. So okay, I don't know if that's a problem, but maybe queen D7 just to kind of add a supporter makes sense anyway. And I need to move it anyway because I want, like I said, to get my knight around. So I think queen D7 also opens up the rook. We can go probably to E8 and line up here. And I haven't forgotten about this bishop. I haven't forgotten. Maybe he comes into the game on h6. Who knows? Maybe there's some craziness with bishop f4 or rook e3, bishop f4, or, you know, I don't know. Of course, they could play g3 if they really want to. Maybe I get my knight there first. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then maybe the bishop. Okay, rook d1. I think let's go ahead and get the rook. That seems like where my rook should be, so I'm happy with that. I guess I could create a... It's called Alekine's gun, where you line up all three of them. So I could do like that, or even like 1, 2, 3, and triple up this way. Of course, they have knight f1 to defend, but it's something to think about. I think I'm going to go with the knight first, though. I think this knight needs to get to its destination. So let's go ahead and do that. Very interesting situation that we have with everything just being totally locked up. I mean, it's kind of locked up, but it's not that locked up. Like there's still this, and there's still room to be opened up over here, if depending on how we want to set this up. And with the pawn here, it changes things, right? Like if this pawn was on e6, there would be nothing going on. But because it's on f6, there's always like g5 ideas, and okay, they do play c4. So yeah, see, white is thinking about opening up some things over here. So one option I have is to play c6 and just recapture with the pawn. It does open the c file, but other than that, it keeps things relatively closed off. If they played c5, we might have a hard time breaking through. If they take me, I take them. My bishop is now opened. Can they play e4 though? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They could play it, right? Okay, let's say I play knight f7. They take, I take with the bishop. Then I lose a pawn. So that's one thing to think about. But then I do get my knight to h6 where we jump in. What's happening there? Like, how dangerous is that? Or is it worth it to just play c6? c6, I think they will play c5. I'm getting the vibe that they will play c5. In which case, b5, we have a totally locked up board with the exception of this. Is it enough to break through? I will be able to orchestrate g5 at some point in the future and open up a little bit of the board at some costs. Wow. Do we want to go down that route? I don't know. I don't know. Probably not. Knight f7. What if I just ignore it and immediately go there and they play e4? I think they're just in time. I think they're just in time, which is why I think I have to do this to keep the clamp here. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going to laugh if they play c5. c5, b5 will be pretty funny. $1600s are this good? Well, a couple things you have to realize. This is a longer time control game, so they have much more time to think. So that's one thing. And also, I don't think I've really tested them yet. with a tricky threat. So it's hard to see the skill level just yet, is what I'm feeling like. Once my knight lands on g4, I think we're going to see a lot more. We're going to see how they respond to a serious threat here. And then we will know more. Okay, so this doesn't look good for me at all. I mean, he's going to invade and win a pawn, so here we go. But the fact, okay, if this pawn was on e6, I think we could just agree to a draw, because I don't think anybody would be willing to just give away pawns. Because the pawn is here, though, I am always going to have the possibility to bust things open on the king side with g5. So I am not convinced that this is just agreeing to a draw. Even though it looks very locked up, I still think I have good chances over here. And if white wants to, they can open up the A file. And maybe some stuff could happen here as well. So that's something to keep an eye on. Other than that, white kind of has to just wait on me now, right? Because they can't push. They can't push. I can. I like that I have that option. I can, like I said, with the exception of the A4 move, I can just take as long as I need to reposition my pieces exactly how I want. Okay, they are going to play it, and I don't know if they're going to play A5 or take. If they take, maybe I could. No, I don't think I want to do that because this is still a weakness. Yeah, we'll deal with that in just a second. Let me go ahead first with this. Let me just make sure. Takes. Knight comes in. No reason to sack this yet. Let's get the knight there. They're probably going to play knight h2, I would imagine. I would imagine they're going to play knight h2. So what I'm thinking about is rook here, bishop goes like this. I guess they still just play g3 though. g5 at some point when I'm ready, but what do I need to do to make that happen? I don't know if they're going to try to close this or if they're going to try to open up the A file and bring a rook over. I don't think I want to make this trade. Then they take here. So I would have to take this way. Then they have the option for h5, which I don't think I want to give them that. I might reposition this bishop for one thing somewhere over here. I'm also setting up, maybe one day the bishop can join the queen and we can, I don't know, I'm thinking ahead, queen goes here, bishop's here, so click queen and bishop, right? Like attacking here. And then g5, maybe, something like this. Let's see what white's going to do with these pawns, though. Are they going to push? Are they going to trade? Because we will have to keep an eye on the A file if that happens. You don't want to let like a rook come down here and start causing you problems. They do play g3. Let me go here so I have some support here in case I see a good opportunity to play g5. I would like this to be a little bit more defended. Okay, and they do trade. Okay, so we could take this way, and then we probably keep any rooks out because we have this. The long-term problem here is that a problem, though? My knight could actually go there. Now this is interesting, because this way he's going to get the A file first. Yeah, actually, I think we should do this. There's going to be a knight c3. This is a weak pawn. But then the knight here, we can actually attack on the A file. Very interesting, guys. It takes, let's say, queen a2. How do we defend temporarily? Bishop to b7. Knight here, knight here, knight here. Queen c6, no, queen d7. And then I get my knight on c6. Man, this position is nuts. All right, we're going to go for it. I like the square. I like the square for my knight. I know we just spent all that time going over here, but now I'm changing my mind, and I like this one. Because it puts so much pressure on b4, and then we can put our pieces here and play a5 and come in this way. But you have to watch out for d5, so I don't know about that. I guess there's always just queen c6, bishop b7. You can defend with the rooks. What a mess. What a mess we have here. Okay, that's a good idea. He wants to put his knight on a5. I didn't think about that. That's a smart idea. I mean, I can get my bishop there, but it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. I think I should bring the knight back. It needs to go there now. Unfortunately, if his knight's on a5, we'll just be trading, but I still need to do it. It's not doing much here anymore unless I'm wanting to make that trade, but I don't think I do. Okay, let's go here. Yeah, I didn't really want to make this trade, but what else can I do? Knight here and try to sack or something? Double sack, maybe? Or try to play g5 and attack the king somehow. Okay, let me go bishop h6. Maybe this is a good plan. I'm not actually sure. This is hard to play. But I'm thinking we can maybe play g5 and somehow attack. The thing about g5 is this is annoying, right? But I might do it anyway. Because if we take here, and then we sack, we're at least getting some sort of an attack. So that's the move that directly defends against what I'm trying to do. Directly defends against it. The idea is that if I take, they just take back and I can't even sack, right? Let's try to bring one more piece to make it even more interesting. I have some ideas, but I don't know if any of them are good ideas. Hmm. Since I can't really take advantage of this E3 pawn, I'm trying to reposition my rooks to maybe set up some other ideas. Let's defend the pawn. Okay, we probably should defend this. Probably should defend that. C6? He wants to go rook c5 and take my pawn? I mean, this is probably going to be my best opportunity here, guys. So I could play bishop f8, actually. Actually, bishop f8 might be annoying. Because what I'm thinking is, after they defend, I can attack it again. Can you defend that pawn? Oh, rook c5 then, maybe? Yeah, I guess, okay. But no, then I could play... Would I play 96? Hold on. Queen e7, rook c5, 96. Then I lose this pawn, though. Well, what is happening here, guys? Okay. My other plan of playing g5, I'm afraid. I'm afraid to do it. You know why I'm afraid? Because after they take, they get the e5 square for their knight, which looks very unpleasant for me. Okay, let's try. I think they're going to go rook c5, only move. Queen e4, knight e5 traps my queen. No, don't think we can do that. Takes, bishop c2. Yeah, the queen would be trapped. That's funny. That is very funny. He's just going to go back. He's just going to go back. Yeah, I can go bishop d6. Kathleen, welcome to Stalematers. Hey, thanks. I'm going to try to attack the pawn again from a different angle. But unfortunately, white has time to defend it. Can just move their bishop and then rook over. Or do that. Wait, what? Are they just giving me the pawn? Takes rook b8. What are they gonna do? What am I missing? Rook c6. What am I missing, guys? But the C file is open, so now some things will start to happen. So maybe they just wanted to sack this to open it up, but pawn is a pawn. Wait, what? So if I take, they want to sack here and then fork me like this? Are you kidding me? Is that even good? Wait, hold on. Sack, I take, you take, I go here, you take, I take. Wow. And if I take the pawn, what happens here? Again, you want to sack and take here? No, that can't be good for you, is it? No. I'm going for it. Maybe I'm falling for a trap, but I'm going for it. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Because now I have two pawns. Now I have two connected pawns. As long as this guy doesn't somehow sneak past and become a queen. But I don't see how that's happening. If they take me here, I just take back. Charlie upgraded. All right. You're a checkmater. Way to go. What is White's idea here? What is the plan? Rook c2 doesn't work, I don't think, does it? I just take. No, is there a plan rook c2? Wait a second. Rook c2 takes. No, that doesn't look like it works. Oh, I don't know. I'm not seeing it. Okay, so he wants to bring the knight over. Okay. I kind of feel like just taking that knight and then taking the pawn. That bishop finally gets to trade itself. Makes itself useful. Okay. So let's say they take and I take. Does the sack work? They take me, I take here, they take here. I move, they take me, I take them. I now have two pawns. It should be a winning endgame for me. It should be. And if I take the other way, they take, yeah, I think that's maybe just a worse version. I'll take this way. I think this is winning. Because the two connected pawns should be enough to win. Okay, he wants to double up the rooks. It's probably not a bad idea. A5, A4. B4, knight B5, knight C3 looks really good except for this tactic. So hold on, hold on. And maybe I have to get rid of this annoying bishop. So A5. I can't play A5. He just takes it. What am I saying? Okay, so it's still a tough position, actually, somehow. I'm going to go here because then if he tries to double up, the rook is actually stuck defending. You can't like do anything with it at the moment. But I still have to figure out how to get my knight to a better square without losing to this. So how do we do that exactly? Do I go rook here, then the knight is free? Oh, he goes queen d2. Okay, he takes the pressure off. So now maybe I can just push it. Or push here, then bring the knight, go to c3. With the rook c5, rook b5. Now maybe now we just play a5. We just play a5 now. Yeah, let's do it. Because he moved the queen away. There's no longer the pressure here, so now we can push these guys. Okay. I have to pay attention to the time, though. We don't want to lose on time. B4, B3. Pawns can't really be stopped. Didn't think about that one, but is it really a big deal? So I want to go B3, A3, and just keep pushing him. He's probably going to have to sack and take the pawn, I would think. No, doesn't do it. Okay. I think we can defend. We have our pieces positioned nicely to defend on the 7th rank, so I'm not worried about this. I'm more concerned with getting another queen. Now maybe I do want to stop and take and defend one move here. Just because if I lose everything, maybe it gets a little tricky. So we'll just take a moment to pause. We still have A3 coming. Check, no big deal. Okay, he does trade. So my plan is a3 next. As long as we don't lose to some trickery. Okay, we can't lose this pawn though. So queen a6. Okay, queen a6 should be good. Got to stop the queen from coming in. Check, I think we can just move somewhere and block. Oh, he's got... No, he doesn't. He doesn't have it because I have knight takes. Okay. I have knight takes. Okay, I didn't see that one. I did not see that one. Oh, he just takes. Wow. Wow. We're going to lose this game. I didn't see that. Yeah, I didn't see that. Man. Yeah, if our pawn was one more move up, we could still... Wait, what? Why did he take that way? What is he doing? What? This game is so weird. Okay, this game is so weird. We're going to check this game because... How did you not see that? How did you not see that? Dude. No, something about this game is not right. Man, what was that? What was that? What in the world was that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I gotta play the next game. I don't have time to analyze it, but something funky was going on there at the end. Something really funky was going on. This person's a new account. Okay. They're 3-0. Probably should take this one seriously, guys. I probably should take this one seriously. Okay, let's see. We're going to go trade off our bishop here. We'll play c6, keep the pawns nice and solid. So I think we should stop and consider this move because they can't take me, which means they have to move their knight probably here. Then we take. They take, and they have a weak pawn that we can just use as a target. So it wasn't going to be my plan, but since they've given me this opportunity, I think I should take it. Let's play b4. They're going to move here, and we trade. They can take with the rook. No, actually, they can't. We just take it. So they have to take this way. And now this is what I was talking about. And actually, we might even... No, maybe not. I was going to say maybe we can take advantage of it immediately, but I guess we can't. But that's okay. I'll just play knight here, and I'm going to maybe try to get my knight on c4 and win the pawn that way. I could play b5 actually first, then knight b6, c4, and win the pawn. Because b5 helps them blockade the pawn. So I like that, actually. Let's make sure we're not blundering anything, but b5 seems to be a good plan. Okay, b5. Yeah, guys, the other game, so my initial impression was it was normal. I thought, okay, I just haven't really put them into any particularly difficult situation. Like every move was pretty much normal. Like everything was just locked up. The only thing was when they when they positioned their knight on a5 and then played c6, and it was just like, whoa, and the pieces started invading on the c file. That was like some pretty crazy stuff. And then to follow that up with just some like, here, just take my pawn, and then after that, the queen and rook coming down. I'm like, I don't know. It could have been normal, but I'm not. Yeah, it was weird. It was very weird. I will say that. But we didn't get a chance to analyze it also, so I don't know what Stockfish was saying in all those moments, so I don't have a lot of information to go off of, really. Okay. So yeah, I think let's just continue with the plan. We go here. They want to go bishop b4. Oh wait, we can just take the pawn. What am I saying? We just take the pawn. We just take it. Yeah, we just take it. Now, does it matter if I trade the rooks first or just go with the bishop? If we trade rooks, then they have the option of playing queen a1. Maybe the queen invades. Maybe that's unpleasant for me. But if I take this way, maybe I keep a little bit more control is what I'm thinking. I guess the other option would be we trade, and then when they play queen here, we play b4. But no, then c3 is a problem for us. Yeah, c3 is a problem for us. So I think we should probably take this way. And I do wish I could develop this knight, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to have time because they want to go there right away. So I probably need to get away from the pin. Although, hold on, there is this idea of knight b6, queen a1, knight c4. Bishop attacks me. No. Okay, hold on. Knight b6. Wait a second. Knight b6, queen a1. I could just move my bishop, actually. It's not a pin. I have my knight defending. Okay. So knight b6 should be a fine move. Knight b6 should be a fine move. We meet queen a1 by just retreating our bishop. If they take, we take. They take, we take. They bring a rook over, we move. Yeah, even at the end of it all, if they invade, I think we can just go knight c7, followed by here. Bishop attacks, and we defend with the bishop. And I think we are just fine. Knight g5, we have knight h6. All the pieces come into the game. I think we're good. Okay, we already analyzed this. We go here. Rook a7, king d7, bishop a5, bishop d8. Oh, you know what? He has rook a8. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I might have messed up. Yep. We're going to be in trouble here. Oh, boy. I have to do it. I forgot about rook a8. Wow. That's an amazing move. Okay, they didn't see it. If they would have taken here, guys, and then played rook a8, oh no, I have bishop d8. Maybe I'm fine. Maybe I had bishop d8. I was afraid that I was going to get stuck. I forgot I did have a bishop d8. Okay, maybe it was fine. Still scary. Scarier than I thought it was going to be. Okay. I think we need to play knight h6 because we have to get the rook involved. And I have to make sure I'm not getting in trouble with knight g5. So if I go knight e7, knight g5 is a big problem because there's this and there's this. Everything is getting attacked. So I think we go here. Okay. So now we're being proactive against this one. And the rook is getting ready to come over and help. Okay, that's a good move. That's a good move. You may have overlooked that one as well. That's actually a really good move because, let's see, once their knight gets there, I have to go to c8 to defend. There's no checkmate immediately, but what they could do is take. Okay, maybe I'm somehow surviving, but it seems pretty scary. Wow. Okay, hold up. What if I go king c8 first, being proactive about it? They're probably still going to jump in. What can I do? What can I do? Bring my knight? I don't know what's happening. Try to bring my rook. This is a good move. This is a very good move. It looks super scary. I don't see anything immediately, but it just looks like I'm in trouble, right? I'm going to try to bring my rook around to help somehow. I don't see it immediately. It looks like I can just survive. Even if they take, I take back. And if they go here, I always can block, right? And knight oh, they go knight b4. Oh, they want to go to a6 this way. Okay. So what happens if I play rook e7? Knight a6, king here. What happens? They take me. I take them. They go check. I run. They go knight c5 checkmate. Are you kidding me? No. No. Rook e7, knight a6, king here. Bishop takes, check. Here, that's checkmate. I have to go here. Wow. What if I go here right away? Does that change anything? No, then they can just take me. All right, I have to try it. What is happening? What is happening? Are we getting twisted into a pretzel? Or are we fine? What is it, guys? What is it? Oh no. Oh no. The other the other knight is coming. Oh no. This is bad news. This is bad news. Yeah, that's a good move too. Dude. Dude. Okay. I think we're getting twisted into a pretzel. All right, if I try to go here, he just takes. I can't do that. If I try to run this way, he just takes. I can't do that. If I have no way to get out of the pin, and the knight's just going to come in here and mate me. That's it. Knight f5, knight here. I take. Doesn't even matter. He comes in with the check. Oh, but then I'm defending at least. So maybe knight f5 is worth a try. Probably just going to play c3 and laugh at me. I have no moves. Like I have no moves. Well, I mean, what can I even do? Can't move. Yeah, I can't even take that because the knight defends right now, and he comes next move. Man. Let's see. If I take and play c5, do I have any tricks? No. Oh boy. Uh-huh. Yeah, this is over. This is over. I just got destroyed. Okay. Let's take it and play c5. Well, I mean, there's nothing else to do. Yeah, this person is either a very strong player or something else is going on. They're playing so fast, though, it almost makes me think this is like a alternate GM account or something. Yeah, it's game over. Okay, sure. Sure, 1600. I believe that. I believe it. I believe it. Oh. Yeah. I guess we got to report it, huh? New account. So the a3 was a bad, I mean, wasn't really a good move. Knight c3 wasn't really amazing either. When did they turn it on? You know, it's interesting too. Yeah, right here is when they right here is when they started to spend a little bit of time, like a minute or something, minute and 20 seconds, and then that's when it happened. For k2, engine move, queen a1, engine move, taking, k1, k7, bishop a5, and then all the knight maneuvers exactly like Stockfish would have done it. Perfect. Yep. Well, I guess we'll get those points back later. Let's go look at the other game. I don't know about that one. That one might have been... I don't know. Let's go see that one. Let's go see that one. I forgot too that tournaments, I think there's lots of rice in tournaments. Okay, so I mean the opening was whatever. I don't really think we need to look at that too much. Yeah, I mean this all seemed kind of normal. It's right around here where I start to wonder. Let's take a look at some of these moves. Okay, knight h2, obvious move, right? Nothing suspicious there. G3, fine. That's pretty obvious. I'm moving my queen. Okay, of course everybody's gonna play G3. Okay, you're gonna trade to try to open it up. I think that's pretty obvious. Knight b3 seems pretty normal. Like you're gonna go to a5. Like that's nothing crazy. I'm really curious about the c6 move. Yeah, no, it's. I don't think it's a stockfish move. Doesn't change the evaluation of the position though, so it could be just not showing up on the top 3 moves. Yeah, no, this was not good. It was just giving me a pawn. This was just giving me a pawn. This was just giving me some easy stuff. Okay. Yeah, so this game might have been legitimate. Yeah, it might have been just legitimate because I was totally winning and then I just blundered. This move, and they didn't see it. So maybe it was legitimate. I don't know. Maybe yeah. That seems normal. That seems pretty normal. I don't think that was race. I think that was just me playing a poor opening choice of letting the position become totally locked. And yeah, I think that's all that was. But who knows? You know, maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to report this one. We'll let chess.com figure that out. But the other one definitely was, obviously. 97 without even thinking. And just, yeah. All right, guys. This was fun. It was some good practice for me. And yeah, I'm sure I'll get those points back from the other game. I'm sure of it. New account was made a couple months ago. Perfect score, you know, all that kind of stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Steven. Yanni, appreciate you guys. Take it easy.